The siren wailed through the quiet suburban street, cutting the air like a knife as two police cruisers pulled up to the manicured lawn where white tents fluttered in the breeze. Guests froze mid-conversation, champagne flutes hovering, while the officiant paused with the rings in hand. In that split second, Max Thompson, the groom in the sharp navy suit, locked eyes with his partner Ben across the aisle, knowing this interruption wasn't random. It was the ugly underbelly of their town rearing its head on what should have been their perfect day. Max had always known Willow Creek wasn't the most progressive place in Illinois. As the town's mayor for the past 3 years, he'd pushed for small changes. A pride flag at City Hall during June, inclusive policies in schools, even a community center event for LGBTQ youth. But change came slow in a place where church steeples outnumbered coffee shops, and old prejudices lingered like smoke after a fire. Ben Harper, his fiancée, now almost husband, had moved here from Chicago 5 years ago, drawn by a job at the local hospital as a pediatric nurse. Their meeting was straight out of a rom-com. Ben treating Max's niece after a playground accident, sparks flying over small talk about terrible hospital coffee. But real life wasn't scripted, and their relationship had been a battlefield from the start. The neighbor, Harold Jenkins, lived 2 doors down. A retired factory worker in his 70s, Harold was the kind of man who flew a Confederate flag on his porch for heritage and grumbled about the gays ruining America at every town hall meeting. Max had clashed with him before, once over a zoning dispute, another time when Harold petitioned against the Pride event, calling it a moral hazard. But today, as the cops stepped out of their cars, badges gleaming under the afternoon sun, Max felt a surge of anger mixed with weary resignation. Harold must have seen the setup. The rainbow accents on the tables, the 2 men in suits holding hands during rehearsals yesterday. And he'd called it in, probably spinning some tale of disturbance or illegality. Officer Ramirez, a familiar face from city council briefings, approached with a hesitant stride. Mayor Thompson, we got a call about a possible code violation, loud music, unauthorized gathering. Said it was disrupting the peace. His partner, a younger rookie named Ellis, shifted uncomfortably, glancing at the assembled crowd of about 50. Family, friends, a mix of locals and out-of-towners. Ben's sister from New York was there, her progressive bumper stickers on her car a stark contrast to the pickup trucks parked nearby. Max's own parents sat in the front row, his mother dabbing her eyes with a tissue, not from joy, but from the lingering disappointment she'd voiced when he came out a decade ago. "It's our wedding, Mike," Max said, using the officer's first name to cut through the formality. "Everything's permitted. I signed off on it myself." The irony wasn't lost on him. As mayor, he'd navigated the bureaucracy to ensure their backyard ceremony complied with every rule. But Harold's call wasn't about codes. It was about hate wrapped in legality. Ben squeezed Max's hand, his voice steady despite the tremor. "Let's just get through this. We've waited too long." As the officers apologized and turned to leave, whispering into their radios, Max spotted Harold peering from his window, curtains twitching. The old man's face was a mask of smug satisfaction turning to confusion as he realized who was at the center. But this was just the beginning. The wedding might proceed, but the ripples would spread through Willow Creek like a storm. The ceremony resumed, vows exchanged with a raw intensity born from the interruption. "I promise to stand by you, through every challenge this world throws," Ben said, his eyes shining. Max echoed the sentiment, but inside, doubts churned. Was marrying here a mistake? Should they have eloped to somewhere more accepting? Their relationship had always been about choices. Choosing to stay visible in a town that preferred invisibility, choosing love over safety. That night, as guests mingled at the reception, whispers circulated. Some praised Max's composure. Others questioned why Harold hadn't been confronted. Ben pulled Max aside under the string lights. "We can't let this ruin our day." But Max felt the weight of his role, not just as groom, but as mayor. Tomorrow he'd have to address this publicly, turning a personal attack into a community lesson. The morning after the wedding, Willow Creek buzzed with the news. Social media lit up, posts from guests sharing photos of the ceremony, the police arrival trending locally with hashtags like gay wedding drama and Mayor Thompson ties the knot. Max woke to a flood of emails. Supportive ones from allies, vitriolic from detractors. One from the city council chair urged a statement. "We need to handle this delicately. Harold's got friends on the board." Ben, still in his pajamas, scrolled through his phone at the kitchen table. "Look at this." Someone leaked Harold's call to the dispatch logs. He said, "There's an abomination happening next door. Two men pretending to marry. It's against God's law and probably the town's too." Ben's laugh was bitter. God's law? In 2026, after all these years of progress. Max poured coffee, his mind racing. He'd built his mayoral campaign on unity, bridging the divide between the old guard and newcomers. Willow Creek was changing. Young families moving in for affordable housing, tech workers commuting to Chicago. But Harold represented the resistance, a vocal minority amplified by online echo chambers. Max had chosen to run for office after coming out publicly, inspired by Ben's quiet strength. Their first date had been a walk in the park, where Ben shared his own story, disowned by conservative parents in rural Indiana, rebuilding in the city. "I choose who I love," Ben had said. Now that choice was under fire. At City Hall, Max drafted a press release. "Yesterday's interruption at my wedding highlights the work still needed in our community. Discrimination has no place here." But as he hit send, his phone rang Harold's number. "Mayor," the old man growled. "You think you're above the law? I called because it's wrong. My grandkids live nearby. They don't need to see that filth." Max's pulse quickened. "Harold, it's 2026. Same-sex marriage has been legal for over a decade. This is about hate, not law." The conversation escalated, Harold spewing slurs that made Max's stomach turn. Hanging up, Max felt a mix of rage and pity. Harold's wife had died years ago. Maybe loneliness fueled his bigotry. But empathy had limits when it targeted your family. Ben met him for lunch at the diner, where stares followed them. A waitress, usually friendly, served with curt nods. "People are talking," Ben said. "Some say you should sue Harold for harassment." Max shook his head. "That'd divide the town more. I chose public life. This comes with it." But inwardly, he questioned his decisions. Had he put Ben in danger by staying visible? The conflict spilled into the next council meeting. Harold showed up with supporters, signs reading, "Protect traditional values." He demanded Max's resignation. A mayor who flaunts immorality can't lead. Protests clashed outside, rainbow flags versus pickets. Max defended himself eloquently, citing laws and progress. But a council member, an old ally of Harold's, proposed a motion to review community standards for public events. It was a veiled attack on LGBTQ rights. Ben waited at home, anxiety building. "What if this costs you the job?" Max pulled him close. "Then we start over. But I won't hide who we are." Their embrace was a silent vow, but the storm was gathering. Weeks turned into months, and the wedding incident became a flashpoint. National media picked it up. Small-town mayor's gay wedding disrupted by neighbor's 911 call. Interviews flooded in CNN local affiliates. Max and Ben became reluctant symbols, their story dissected on talk shows. Supporters sent cards. Haters mailed threats. One envelope contained a Bible verse condemning homosexuality, scrawled in red ink. At the hospital, Ben faced whispers from colleagues. A doctor, known for conservative views, reassigned him from pediatric cases, citing parent concerns. Ben confronted him. "This is discrimination," the doctor shrugged. "Just protecting the kids." Ben's choice to fight back led to an HR complaint, but the process dragged, wearing him down. "I moved here for a quieter life," he told Max one night. "Not this." Max's re-election campaign loomed, 6 months away. Polls showed a dip. Harold's group mobilized, knocking doors with pamphlets labeling Max a radical activist. At a town fair, they set up a booth next to the LGBTQ alliances, tensions simmering. Max chose to attend, shaking hands, but a heckler shouted, Go back to Chicago with your husband. Ben, by his side, felt exposed, his hand trembling in Max's. Family added layers of conflict. Max's parents visited, his father awkward, mother probing. Couldn't you have a quiet ceremony? Why invite trouble? Ben's sister called from New York, urging relocation. Illinois isn't worth it. But Max felt rooted. Willow Creek was his home, flaws and all. We stay and change it, he said. Ben nodded, but doubt flickered. A turning point came at a community forum. Harold spoke first, voice quivering. I fought in Vietnam for American values. This ain't it. Max responded, values include equality. My marriage doesn't threaten yours. Applause mixed with boos. Then a young woman stood, Harold's granddaughter, estranged for years. Grandpa, you're wrong. Love is love. The room hushed as she hugged Max. Harold stormed out, but seeds of doubt planted. Yet controversy peaked when vandals spray-painted slurs on their house. Police investigated, fingerprints leading to a teen influenced by Harold's rhetoric. Max pressed charges, a tough choice pitting justice against community healing. Ben supported him. We can't let fear win. Their bond deepened amid chaos. Late nights discussing futures, choosing resilience over retreat. As election day neared, alliances shifted. The council's standards motion failed, but not without debate. A moderate member switched sides after her son came out, inspired by Max's visibility. You gave him hope, she told him. But Harold doubled down, funding attack ads. Mayor Thompson, putting agenda over community. Ben's HR case resolved in his favor, but the toll showed sleepless nights, weight loss. Sometimes I wonder if loving you means sacrificing too much, he admitted during a walk. Max stopped, heart aching. Do you regret us? Ben's eyes softened. Never. But I choose you every day, knowing the cost. The climax hit at a debate. Harold crashed it, microphone in hand. This man is destroying our town. Chaos ensued, shouts, security intervening. Max remained calm. This is what fear looks like, but love builds bridges. The crowd turned, many applauding. Polls surged. Post-debate, Harold confronted Max privately. Why fight? Just leave. Max saw the man's isolation. No family left, friends dwindling. Because this is my home too. Hate isolates. Acceptance connects. Harold left silent, but the encounter lingered. Election night, Max won by a slim margin. Celebrations were subdued, victory bittersweet. Ben toasted, to choices that matter. But threats persisted. They installed security cameras, a reminder of vulnerability. In quiet moments, they reflected on their journey. From that hospital meet-cute to wedding vows interrupted, to standing firm. Social conflicts tested them, but emotions, love, anger, hope, guided their paths. With the election behind them, Max and Ben settled into married life. But Willow Creek's wounds healed slowly. Harold withdrew, his flag lowered after neighbors petitioned. Whispers said he'd apologize to his granddaughter. A small step toward reconciliation. Max initiated town dialogues on inclusion, attendance growing as stories shared bridged divides. Yet not all embraced change. A church group boycotted city events, labeling them woke. Ben volunteered at youth programs, helping teens navigate identities amid backlash. One boy, bullied for being gay, reminded Ben of his past. You make me believe it's possible. Choices define them, staying visible, fostering empathy. A year later, at their anniversary party, guests included former skeptics. Max's parents attended warmly, his mother hugging Ben. I'm proud. But Harold's empty house next door loomed, sold after his move to assisted living. Rumors said loneliness broke him more than defeat. Their story inspired a local documentary, sparking national conversations on small-town progress. Max considered higher office, Ben supporting. We've come this far. Emotions ran deep, joy in triumphs, sorrow in losses, resolve in unity. As they danced under the same string lights, Ben whispered, through it all, I'd choose you again. Max smiled, knowing their love wasn't just personal. It challenged society, one conflicted heart at a time. Is it true that standing up to bigotry always leads to positive change? Or can it sometimes deepen divisions?